45th edition of Turf Talk Tuesday. I'm here with two of our rock stars, Haley Foss and Rob Rasick. How are you guys?
Doing great.
Good to see you guys. Is this better, Dylan, if I'm over here?
There you go. That's better.
Much better? Cool.
Good.
Today's topic is exciting. We're talking about proper apparel and footwear for your exercise activities, whether it be sport or working out. And who better than one of our apparel experts, Rob, to discuss some of the parameters today. We're going to go over two main subjects when it comes to apparel: footwear and compression. Okay? We'll let Rob talk about two main topics, talking about the activities that you choose, what are your activities, and what are the demands of those activities. Rob, let's talk about that first.
Yes, when considering the footwear, look at the demands of the sport, look at the intensity of the sport, and the duration. Okay, so you have to consider the demands and the length of the activity. If you are doing longer distance running, you probably may consider a little bit more cushion versus if you do shorter runs. If you're looking at weightlifting shoe, it's a little bit different parameters coming to the play in the shoe that will affect the performance.
So there you go. So the basic principles of what is your activity, it's going to play upon the intensity of said activity. Also, I think movement has a big play to it, whether you might be linearly running, or if you're doing something that's multi-direction, or something that could be vertical in nature where there's some compounding as well. So you may consider things like basketball shoes as well. So Rob mentioned long distance running. So this is a shoe with a really flexible forefoot, correct?
Yes.
So these are your classic Nike Frees, super light and ultra flexible at the ball of the foot. And if you notice the increased amount of cushion on the front edge and leaning out here as you get to the front edge as well. Okay, back here. Cool. Then we talk about an overall cross-training shoe where you might be doing some kind of barbell lifting. You could be doing squats, deadlifts, any kind of kettlebell work, something like that. There you go. The Nike Metcon is the version.
This is the women's version.
Women's version of the Metcon.
So you can see the heel is pretty firm. It still gives, however, not as much as, for example, my distance running shoe.
There you go.
This is a YouTube.
Right.
So really gives a lot. It's got enough for support. One thing I would suggest a lot of times when people try the shoes is make sure you don't have too much, not too much or not too little space. So when you put your shoe on, you should be able to stick your finger behind the heel. And still have a little bit of room.
Good to know. Good to know. So you're seeing the huge difference between an endurance-based shoe and something that's going to be geared towards weightlifting. So take a look at how much rubber is impacted here. Is this
obviously softer.
Exactly, softer, where you can't do that. So I only get softness at the forefoot in case you happen to be running with your weightlifting, whether you're doing any kind of cross training. But back here from the arch on, there's really no give. Even in here, I believe they insert some kind of hard, firm plastic or wood in here to allow for that compression, should you be doing any kind of barbell lifting as well. So your classic Nike Metcons. The other main player in that division are your Reebok Nanos. So once again, firmer through the heel, but only flexible in the forefront, not in the arch. So arch support plays a big part into it. What I like too about the Reebok Nanos is, notice it has some grading here. So that way if you're doing any kind of rope climb, you have an ability to gain traction upon that rope. You should be doing an inchworm technique. So I'm a big fan of the Reebok Nanos as well.
Women's running shoe, plenty of spaces to pull the foot off, and obviously there's like also consider a lot of times people have way too much cushion. So try if you can see increase your cushion to the point it's still manageable, and because then your foot actually reads off the information as you're running, sends it back to your brain, you have much better experience, much better life.
There you go. All that experiences. So no hokas, they make the excessively thick rubber where you almost feel like you're running out of class.
That's correct.
I certainly would not be doing any barbell squatting with those bad boys.
Not at all. I actually held it in my hand and try to move it around, and it felt pretty stiff.
Right. That's another thing about as well is the level of torsion. So beyond just your forward flex, what's your twisting capability of that shoe as well? So a lot of factors. We talk about height as well, the width of the shoe, correct?
Yes. If you're gonna shop for your shoes, sorry.
No, please.
Do it midday or do the end of the day as your foot naturally expands. Also consider wearing for your activity.
Great, great two principles. So many people now shop online as opposed to going to the actual sneaker store to try things on. But if you happen to go tangibly into the store, once again, think about that midday as you'll find the greatest width of your foot at that point of the day, and wearing that sock is huge. Because sometimes when you go to try them on, they give you that little stocking sock just for cleanliness and hygiene, but it's not the sock you're truly going to wear when you're actually working out.
And as soon as you slide your foot in, they should feel pretty comfortably. You don't want to consider I have to break it in. That's how you feel when you slide your foot in, because that's not as much shoe.
Absolutely. Dylan here, Absolute's got a sneaker as well. So you got affordable minimal waist, so that's something to think about as well. Minimal treads, that way you're getting as much nerve contact. There's so many nerve bundles at the base of your foot that send in information to your brain. So if you're wearing a thick rubber, you might be decreasing that communication. So by wearing a minimal based shoe, you're getting more neural communication to the brain as well, and a flatter level foot.
I totally can connect with that because I tried Nikes that had a lot more cushion, and I felt my foot wasn't really getting the information, so I really didn't have a good experience while running. As soon as I decrease it, whether you prefer more minimalistic or probably like my size, obviously it has to be to your hands. Like I said, a lot of times people will have excessive cushion here, and all the information is lost, and obviously it affects your experience.
So even with Rob's size 22 shoe right there, information is there. I'm sorry, we had our sign. It's a chilly one today, guys. How are you? How are you in the Facebook world? Good. Dylan's gonna hold on to all these bad boys. It's very good. Cool. So that's something to think about too. You see a lot of fashionable sneakers that have the bubbles in the heel and then lean down to the ankle to the toe. I'm not a huge fan of those. I always call it a high heel sneaker, and I don't feel like doing anything aggressive in a high heel sneaker. They're more for fashion and show than they are for function. So Dylan, you got a point?
Yeah, I think if you're also wearing a shoe all day, if you're on your feet, consider something that's not gonna put a different stress on your joints up the chain as a result of how that shoe is made. So if your heel is constantly higher than your toes, you're naturally just putting your joints in a different position. You wonder why women don't wear 6-inch heels all day, because it makes their back, their knees, their spine, it all takes on a whole different force production and force absorption throughout the day or throughout the time wearing them. So that's big to consider.
Well said by the faceless voice. There you go. So he brings up a good point. So I personally, I have 2 pairs of Metcons. I personally would not wear my Metcons, say that 3 times fast, all day working with other clients. I'll use it specifically for that hour that I'm exercising. Any points you want to talk about, Ms. Haley?
No, just when we get into compression, I'm happy to share a bit about that.
Fantastic. So once again, all those factors to consider, the width, the length, the amount of support, the angle of the tread, and how thick your tread is. Those are all basic principles when it comes to footwear. All sneakers are definitely not the same. Let's move on to our next section where we talk about compression gear. Sarah, take it away. Give us the science of compression clothing.
Basically, under the skin, blood vessels get constricted and they start pumping the blood faster and more efficiently to your heart, where oxygenation takes place. It brings you back to your muscles. Muscles tissue which you can breathe, and obviously perform better.
So there you go. So constriction of those blood vessels allows for better blood flow return to the heart, which can also increase performance. And we talked about when we were preparing for today, we talked about the muscle vibration. So the compression can reduce vibration.
Correct. I've tried it on my, obviously first running, and really I felt a lot less fatigue in my legs, a lot less movement in my calves, and I later on applied it as well in cycling, and I felt the same thing. And every time I don't wear, I try not to wear it, or I do wear it, I have much better ride, and I just become faster.
Then there's compression, and then there's true occlusion. We definitely don't want to get to the point where it feels like a tourniquet, just enough where you feel secure, intact, reducing vibration, increasing blood flow, circulation. As you can see, Haley can barely breathe in her compressive top right here. How does that feel, Haley?
It feels good. I'm definitely feeling that constriction here, not to a point where it's uncomfortable, but if you were to wrap your hand here, I mean, that's what it feels like. So nice and compressed through this area, comfortable, but you can feel it really doing its job.
This is, by the way, 2XU top for women, and obviously we're getting into differences for how much compression you need during exhibit and after.
Very good. We'll talk about that in a second. We can't see it because you're behind the table. But I think a third dimension to talk about is temperature. So right now it's actually one of the rare chilly days in Florida. So I think from a thermal standpoint, for preserving the temperature of your muscle, I think it's a huge point to reduce any chance of injury for the elasticity of your collagen tissue of your muscle. So you want to talk about the difference between your during activity compression and your post-recovery. So if you want to come around on the side, we can talk about all your on here.
Yes. So.
Whoa.
Okay. Here we go. What I'm wearing is a leg sleeve, and this is something that provides greater compression. Therefore, this is something that you would use after you work out, when you are sitting down or just have your feet up on the couch, and you probably want to wear at least minimum like a couple hours up to, not as comfortable. The other compression that you are doing will be something like this, which is obviously thinner, doesn't give you as much compression, however, enough, and it will reduce the muscle vibration and therefore decrease the damage to the muscle. Again, another top for your arms, enough of compression during working out. However, something like this, you really feel the squeeze on your arms. So after your upper body workout, you slide this on and you leave it on for a few hours, and you're really gonna feel the difference of less fatigue and less soreness.
Very good. So that's huge importance, because if your workout was intense enough, there has been muscle trauma and damage created on a microscopic level. So to preserve or to optimize your recovery part, having that compression, which might be a little greater than what you had during your movement, because you do need some freedom of movement for your joints.
Exactly.
But if you're not as intense in your movement, now post for recovery, you go a little greater compression.
And obviously, same goes for shorts. You can wear the shorts compression during your lifting, and obviously you pair it up with socks. So I really I invite people to try the compression socks, whether you're walking, whether you're running, or trying cycling, and compare it how you feel during and after. And I think you'll agree with me that it's a different ballgame. Once you start using consistently, I mean, obviously consistency is the goal of the game.
Right.
You should definitely give it a try.
And there you go. So something, if you've never tried, explore the idea of compression gear during your activity and post. I'm usually someone who doesn't like to wear tight things, so I figured today I would try and wear tight clothes. And oh my God, Rob, I feel amazing. I'm compressed with my shirt. I really thank you for exploring this idea and showing it to me. So. Anyways, guys, be on the lookout for future Turf Talks. Thank you, Haley. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, the faceless voice back there, Dylan, and everybody. And you guys missed the real treat, Josh Matthews. We were going to really see some great Lululemon compression. They're well known for their gear. But we hope to see you guys next week for Turf Talk Tuesday. As always, stay fit, stay safe. Good energy always wins. We'll see you on the flip side.